Ever feel like you're screaming inside, but all anyone sees is your perfect mask? You laugh at parties, nod in conversations, play the part. Yet you're lonely, disconnected, like a ghost in your own life. Why? Because you're hiding who you really are. Nobody can connect with a performance, and you've been performing so long you've forgotten what's real. Carl Jung, the psychologist who mapped the depths of the human mind, knew why you struggle to connect. It's not them. It's the masks you wear. Stay with me to learn how to shed those masks and build relationships that actually see you. Let's start with a hard truth. You're not showing the world who you are. Every day you slip on a persona, a carefully curated version of yourself designed to please, impress, or avoid judgment. Maybe it's the nice guy who never disagrees, the confident professional who hides their doubts, or the perfect friend who's always there, no matter the cost. You've worn these masks so long, you barely notice them. They feel safe, like armor. But Jung would say they're a trap. The persona disconnects you from others, because no one can connect with a mask. They can only connect with the real you, flaws, fears, and all. Think about the last time you felt unseen in a relationship. Maybe you were at a party, laughing on cue, but inside, you felt hollow, like no one knew the real you. Maybe you opened up to someone only to pull back when they didn't respond the way you hoped. You blamed them, but Jung would point the finger back at you. Why didn't you show more of yourself? Why did you hide behind small talk or a forced smile? The answer lies in the shadow, the part of you the persona is built to conceal, the anger, the insecurity, the desires you're ashamed of. You think hiding your shadow protects you, but it isolates you. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your masks aren't saving you. They're keeping you from the connections you crave. So why do we wear these masks? Jung's answer is fear. Fear of rejection, judgment, or vulnerability. From childhood, you've been taught to fit in, to be what others expect. You learned that showing your true self, your quirks, your doubts, your raw edges, could lead to pain. So, you built a persona to navigate the world, a shield to keep you safe. But safety comes at a cost. The more you rely on your persona, the more you lose touch with yourself, the whole authentic you. You become a stranger to yourself. And if you don't know who you are, how can anyone else? Your relationships stay surface level because you're offering a facade, not a soul. Let's make this real. Picture a moment when you held back in a conversation. Maybe a friend asked how you were and you said fine, even though you were crumbling inside. Maybe you wanted to share a dream, a fear, or a truth. But you stayed silent, afraid they'd judge you. That was your persona at work, choosing safety over connection. Jung would say, this is why you struggle. You're so busy protecting yourself. You're not letting anyone in. The irony is, the vulnerability you fear is the key to connection. When you hide your shadow, you hide your humanity. And it's your humanity, messy, imperfect, real, that draws others to you. Now let's go deeper, because Jung's psychology isn't just about identifying the problem. It's about solving it. The persona isn't evil. It's a tool, but one you've overused. To connect authentically, you need to loosen its grip. And that starts with facing your shadow. The shadow is everything you've pushed away, the anger you suppress, the dreams you've buried, the flaws you deny. It's the voice that says you're not enough, the impulse to lash out, the fear that you're unlovable. You think hiding it makes you more connectable. But Jung would disagree. The shadow is part of your humanity, and denying it makes you less real, less relatable, less you. Facing your shadow sounds daunting, but it's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. Jung's process of individuation is the path to this wholeness. A journey to integrate your persona, your shadow, and yourself. When you embrace your shadow, You stop pretending to be flawless. You admit your fears, your mistakes, your desires. And in that admission, you become authentic. Authenticity is magnetic. It's what draws people to you because they sense you're real, not a polished mask. Imagine a conversation where you share a vulnerability, a fear, a failure, a dream, and instead of judgment, you find understanding. That's the power of showing your true self. But here's where it gets hard. Shedding your persona means risking rejection. Jung knew this, and he called it the cost of individuation. When you show your true self, not everyone will like it. Some friends will drift away, uncomfortable with your rawness. Some colleagues will judge you, preferring the predictable mask. But Jung would say this is a necessary loss. The connections you lose weren't real. They were built on a lie, on the persona you're leaving behind. The ones that stay, or the new ones you form, will be deeper, because they're rooted in truth. Authenticity filters out shallow bonds and attracts those who value the real you. Let's get practical, because Jung's wisdom is meant to be lived, not just pondered. To stop struggling to connect, you need to break free from your masks. And Jung's psychology gives us 5 tools to do it. First, identify your persona. Notice the roles you play, the good listener, the funny one, the strong one. Write down one situation where you wear this mask and ask, what am I hiding? Second, face your shadow. Journal about a trait you're ashamed of, maybe jealousy, fear, or anger. Admit it without judgment and ask, what is this teaching me? Third, practice vulnerability. Share one small truth with someone you trust, a doubt, a dream, a fear. Start small, but be real. Fourth, set boundaries. Say no to one request that doesn't align with your true self, like a social event that drains you. Protect your authenticity. Fifth, seek authentic mirrors. Surround yourself with people who see and value the real you, not your mask. These steps weaken your persona's hold and open the door to real connection. Let's dive deeper, because Jung's vision is as vast as it is profound. Your struggle to connect isn't just personal. It's tied to the collective unconscious, the shared patterns that shape humanity. One of those patterns is the archetype of the mask wearer, the part of us that craves approval, that fears standing out. We all feel this pull to conform, to hide our true selves, to belong. But Jung believed that true belonging comes from individuation, from embracing your unique self, not from blending into the crowd. When you wear a persona, you're not just disconnecting from others. You're disconnecting from humanity's deeper call to be whole. This call to wholeness is what Jung saw as the hero's journey, an archetype in the collective unconscious. The hero doesn't hide. They face the dragon, in this case, your shadow, and emerge stronger. Picture yourself at a crossroads. One path leads to the safety of your persona, where you stay disconnected but comfortable. The other leads into the dark forest of your shadow, where you risk rejection but find authentic connection. Jung would urge you to take the harder path, because it's where you become the hero of your own story. Every time you choose vulnerability over safety, you're stepping into that archetype, claiming your place among those who dare to be real. But there's a cost, and Jung never shied away from the truth. Breaking free from your masks means facing fears you've buried, that you're not enough, that you'll be rejected, that you're unlovable. Jung called this the dark night of the soul, a moment where you see yourself raw and unfiltered. It's terrifying. You might see the envy you've hidden, the anger you've masked, the doubts you've silenced. But this is where connection begins. When you accept your shadow, you stop hiding it. You stop pretending to be someone you're not. And in that authenticity, you become someone others can truly connect with. Let's talk about the world you're up against. Society doesn't reward authenticity, it rewards masks. You're praised for fitting in, for being the good friend, the perfect partner, the reliable worker. But Jung saw this as a trap, a way to keep you disconnected from yourself. When you choose to shed your persona, you're defying that system. You're saying, I will not live for your approval. I will live for my truth. That defiance is revolutionary, but it's lonely. The world will push back, calling you selfish, weird, or difficult. People will misunderstand you because your authenticity challenges their masks. But Jung would call this the price of individuation, the cost of building connections that are real. Now, let's get real about what's at stake. Every time you hide behind your persona, you're not just missing a conversation or a friendship. You're missing a life. You're robbing yourself of the connections that make life worth living. The ones that see you, know you, love you for who you are. Jung's concept of the self is the vision of that life. Whole, authentic, connected. But the self isn't handed to you. It's forged in the fire of self-awareness, in the courage to face your shadow and let go of your masks. Every step you take toward authenticity, every truth you share, every boundary you set, every mask you shed, is a step toward that self. And with each step, your connections deepen, and your isolation fades. Imagine a future you, a year from now. You faced your shadow not once, but every day, with small, brave choices. You've let go of the personas that kept you small, the relationships that demanded your masks, the fears that held you back. You walk with a quiet confidence, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Your friendships are deeper, because they're built on truth. Your love is stronger, because it's rooted in vulnerability. You're no longer struggling to connect. You're living a life of authentic relationships, because you've learned to show your true self. This isn't a dream. It's what Jung's wisdom can build, if you dare to embrace it. This journey isn't easy, and it's not meant to be. Jung wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Every choice to shed your persona, every step toward authenticity, is a painful but powerful act of becoming. But transformation doesn't happen in isolation. It happens through daily practice, through consistent choices to be real. Now, let's get practical again, because Jung's wisdom is a call to action. Start today. Pick one relationship where you feel disconnected and apply one tool from this video. Maybe you identify your persona, noticing the mask you wear with that person. Maybe you face your shadow, journaling about a fear you've hidden from them. Notice how it feels, the discomfort, the freedom, the spark of truth. That's your authentic self waking up, your path to connection taking shape. Don't stop at one choice. Make authenticity a practice. Each morning, ask, how can I be real today? Each night, reflect, did I show my true self? These small acts, repeated daily, forge relationships that no mask can block. The world will test you. It will tempt you to put your masks back on, to hide behind small talk, to seek approval over truth. But Jung's wisdom is your shield. Every time you choose vulnerability over safety, you're defying the collective pull to conform. Every time you share your truth, you're practicing individuation. Every time you connect authentically, you're building a life that's yours, not the world's. This is the power of shedding your masks. Not a life without fear, but a life where fear doesn't stop you from connecting. This is your moment, right now, to decide. Will you keep hiding behind your persona, letting connection slip away? Or will you face your shadow, shed your masks, and claim the relationships you're meant to have? Jung didn't write for those who want to stay comfortable. He wrote for the heroes, the ones who dare to dive into their psyche, to embrace their whole selves, to forge connections that last. You're here because a part of you is ready to stop struggling, ready to be seen, ready to connect authentically. So, I'm asking you, are you ready to break free and build relationships that are true? There was a moment while watching this when something shifted, wasn't there? Maybe it was when Jung talked about masks becoming prisons, or when you realized you've been hiding your shadow for so long, you forgot it was part of you. You probably felt that uncomfortable recognition, that moment when you saw your own persona staring back at you. That feeling you're having right now? That's your authentic self trying to break through. You're already thinking about which mask you wear most often, aren't you? Which relationship needs your real self instead of your performance? There's probably a line from this video that cut straight through your defenses. Something that made you think, God, that's exactly what I do. That urge you're feeling to capture that insight, to hold on to this moment of clarity, that's not accident. That's readiness. The people who actually transform their relationships don't just consume content and move on. They mark the moments when everything clicks, when the truth becomes undeniable. If there's a quote burning in your mind right now, if there's a tool you're already planning to try, well, you know what that means. You're not just watching anymore. You're becoming someone who refuses to stay invisible. You felt it, didn't you? That moment when Jung's words exposed your mask. Drop that quote in the comments. The line that made you think, damn, that's exactly what I do. Don't let this insight fade like every other video you've watched. Subscribe and keep building the authentic connections you've been craving.